What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another football and Manchester City video. Just going to say before we crack on with this very interesting Champions League video, if you could help my channel, subscribe, put your notifications on, that'd be fantastic. And also, if you do enjoy the video, make sure that you leave a big thumbs up. We're going to crack on with this video. So we're going to be looking at what chance do Manchester City stand of winning this year's Champions League. So we're going to assess how likely it is that Man City could win it and how far they're going to get. And to get a good idea of that, you need to have a look at kind of each of the groups where teams stand. Obviously the groups have already been done, so I'm going to be popping them up as I'm talking about sides, but you've got to assess where they're at, assess where Man City's at, and then try and come up with some conclusions based on some logic and some guesswork and some luck. So we're just going to crack on with it. Now, the group was drawn, so we've got Group A. So obviously in pot 1 you had Atletico Madrid, and it was also drawn alongside AS Monaco, Borussia, Dortmund and Club Brugge. A very difficult group. I mentioned this group because you'd expect Atletico to be the team there that had posed most of the threats. Atletico Madrid have to be one of the favourites to win the Champions League. They're certainly in the top 8. They're a very hard-working side. But they've got a difficult group there with Monaco and Borussia Dortmund too, who will both fancy their chances of progressing in the Champions League too. And they've both got dangerous players, and they're both more than capable of getting to the quarter-finals, semi-finals, and hurting teams like Man City. So yeah, we've already been out to AS Monaco. We know how dangerous that they can be. But to me, Atletico Madrid are the team that could pose a big threat here to the Champions League. They're a hard-working side who run a lot. They're very defensive, they're very well organised, and they're well drilled. They're a very difficult side to beat, and then when they do get beat, normally it's by 1 goal, so it's a very, very difficult tie for anyone to face. And Atletico Madrid offer a lot of consistency when it comes to the Champions League. They've got to semi-finals, they've got to finals. Real Madrid always seem to have their number, but they're a particularly difficult side, and if Real Madrid don't perform in this competition this year, which I'm expecting them to, then Atletico Madrid could pose a serious threat. So people have been talking about Man City saying that they're favourites for the Champions League. However, you're talking about the 3 biggest Spanish sides, Barcelona, Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid, and I'm thinking that they have to be the favourites because they're phenomenal sides, they're hard-working sides. And you're asking me over 2 legs, would we beat Real Madrid? It'd be very difficult. Would we beat Barcelona? It'd be very difficult. Would we beat Atletico Madrid? And again, it'd be very, very difficult. But they're very experienced sides, these sides that I've just mentioned. Atletico Madrid haven't got the greatest of groups to work with. It's not an easy group, but I'd be surprised if they didn't finish first. So when we look at Man City's group in a bit, you know, you'll see where I'm coming from and why it's important for where teams finish. Like I said, I reckon that they'll finish first. We'll move on to Group B, which holds Barcelona in it. And again, repeat what I've just said. With Atletico Madrid, apart from they're a very technical, skillful side, and whilst they still have Lionel Messi in their side, they're a very difficult side to beat. Barcelona have got it very difficult as well, having Spurs in their group, PSV Eindhoven and Inter Milan. Again, it's going to be very difficult for them to finish top of the group. They need to show a lot of consistency. But Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Real Madrid, they're very consistent sides. I'd be surprised if they didn't finish first. It benefits Man City for them to finish first if Man City can finish first. If these teams are going to finish second, it'd benefit us to finish second. We can't draw English sides in the last 16. You want as easy a tie as possible in the last 16. We had it with Basel last season. We ended up progressing. We ended up going in against Liverpool, and the least said about that, the better. But for Barcelona, are they going to struggle to get past Inter Milan against PSV Eindhoven? You wouldn't think so. The match against Tottenham might be a bit nip and tuck, but you're asking Tottenham to go to the new camp and do something. Do I think that they're capable? I think they're capable. Do I think they're going to do it though? No, I don't. So again, I'd be surprised if Barcelona didn't top their group. And so it's very important that you do very well in the group stages. You top your group, you stand a much better chance of getting an easier last 16 match. No last 16 match is easy. You still got to work hard. It's just if you're going to give me the choice of facing someone like Basel, like we did last season, rather than facing Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid or Barcelona, I know which one I'm going to take, and that's what you need in the Champions League. You need consistency. Now we'll move on to Group C. This is Liverpool's group, so PSG, Napoli, Liverpool and Red Star Belgrade or Crvena Zvezda. Now very, very difficult group this for Liverpool, very difficult group for PSG. We're going to have a shock. Napoli, Liverpool or PSG are not going to be in the last 16. Who's the weaker side there? Well, Napoli have just employed Carlo Ancelotti there. They've still got a lot of good players there. Liverpool have added to their squad, and PSG are always a threat. They've got Mbappe, they've got Neymar, they've got Cavani. They've got more than that. You know what I mean? It's a very, very difficult group, that one. One of them sides will be finishing first, one of them will finish in second. You imagine that Liverpool's hard work had probably come into fruition at some point. This could be a little bit dangerous for PSG. They need to work hard. They're full of talent. They need to work hard, though, if they're going to go through. Who's going to top that group, I have no idea. If I'm honest, I'm not too sure I'd want Liverpool at all in the Champions League. It'd probably benefit Man City to match where Liverpool finish, mainly because it means that we'll end up drawing Napoli or PSG in the last 16. No offence to Napoli or PSG, but I'd be very confident of going into a game against Napoli or PSG. Like I said, I just want to avoid the Spanish giants. Really, that's all I'd want to avoid. And you've got to come across these teams at some point. It's just, you're asking me who's the favourites there. The Spanish giants have been dominating for year upon year upon year. They're the world class sides. A PSG there, I don't think that they are. A Napoli there, I don't think that they are. A Liverpool there, not yet. A Man City there yet, not yet, in my opinion. But a very difficult one, that one. If we could avoid them, I certainly would. It's just I'm not going to be fearing them. I'm not going to be going, oh no, we've got PSG in the last 16. That's us out. I won't be going in with that attitude. I think it'd be a very close game. We've beaten PSG a couple of seasons ago, if you remember. 2016, I think it was. Kevin De Bruyne ripped them to shreds, if you remember rightly. It'd be interesting to see how far PSG's come. I'm just not certain that PSG are there yet. Was this season their season? You never know, but I don't think it would. Group D, I mean, I'd want any of these. I'm not really bothered. Porto, Galatasaray, Lokomotiv Moscow and Schalke. I don't think any of them's going to win the European Cup. I'd be more than happy to face any of them in the last 16, if I'm honest, so I think we'll move swiftly on with that one. So we'll move on to Group E. So we've got Bayern Munich, Ajax, AEK Athens and Benfica. Now, this shouldn't be a problem for Bayern Munich to finish first. They're another very good side. I'm not too sure they're at the levels that Real Madrid and Barcelona can get to. They're still a very good side. It'd be a very difficult game, and if you're giving me the choice, I'd rather avoid Bayern, if I'm honest. So like I said, Man City just want to basically finish first, because you have to imagine that 9 times out of 10, teams like Bayern Munich, like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, they're going to top their group. They're going to. So we'd avoid them. We can't play English sides, so I'm not too bothered where Liverpool finish, where Spurs finish, where Manchester United finish. Don't care. Doesn't affect us, not till the quarterfinals. Quarterfinals are a free-for-all. Like I said, you're giving me a choice of teams I'd like to avoid. When it comes to quarterfinals, you want a bit of luck. You want to play not easy sides, but you want to play teams that aren't going to cause you problems. Like, I'd be happier for Manchester City to face Bayern Munich than I would for us to face Liverpool, just purely because I'm not too sure Pep's got the number of Liverpool. Not just yet. We saw it last season. I think we'd get it closer when VAR's introduced. It's in the quarterfinals, by the way. Surprise, surprise, this season. But I feel like it'd be a very nip and tuck game. It'd be a 50-50 game. It'd be a very difficult game. And Liverpool's tails will be up, knowing that they've already beaten us last season. I'd rather avoid that situation. I want things to be as simple as possible. That's how you win Champions Leagues. You want it to be simple. Until you get to the elite level, until you're Real Madrid, you want it as simple as possible. Every team wants it as simple as possible. Real Madrid went through all kinds of teams last season for all the champions and beat everyone. Bit of luck along the way, like I said, but that's where we're at. Group F, Man City's group, already covered a video on this. We've got Lyon, Shakhtar and Hoffenheim. Now, I'd be very surprised if we didn't top the group, so I think we'll move swiftly on with that one. I think that Lyon could pose a little bit of a threat there. We've got a difficult game in the Ukraine too. Hoffenheim, never to be taken for granted. We have to work hard. If we can work hard, I'm confident we can finish top of the group. Group G, you've got Real Madrid, Roma, CSK Moscow and Plzen. I'd be very surprised if Real Madrid didn't top that group. Like I said, we want to be finishing first, so we can avoid teams like that. And last but not least, you've got Juventus, Man United, Valencia and Young Boys. I think I'd want Juventus just to top that one, because I think that'd be a very niggly, difficult last 16 game. They're very well organised. They're a very defensive side. They've got quality in their side. Higuain obviously left, but they brought Ronaldo in. They've still got players around them that can cause a lot of problems. They've got a lot of pace in their side. They've got players like Dybala as well. You're asking me, I'd rather avoid them. These teams like PSG, like Juventus, like Bayern Munich, these are teams I'd rather avoid. Last 16, get them into quarterfinals onwards. Then I obviously get to the semi-final. You can't avoid the big teams forever. You have to, get there. Liverpool last season got a lot of luck on their side. They earned their win over Manchester City in the end, and they ended up facing Roma, because Roma did their job and knocked out Barcelona, which was a big surprise. Like I said, you get a bit of luck, you end up drawing them, and Liverpool ended up going through just about. Now, you know what I mean? I'd like Juventus to top that group, though. Man United second, knowing that we avoid them, and that ends up happening. We've got ourselves, I think it's a 5 or 6 out of 8 chance. So basically, 3/4 chance of us facing someone a little bit more straightforward than what we would face someone like PSG or any teams that don't end up doing their jobs. Champions League, very unpredictable though, anything can happen. We'll get to the last 16 though for Man City. What we're thinking of, you know, working hard. We've experienced last 16 team. We've been to the last 16 on numerous occasions now. Shouldn't be able to phase Man City or any of the players. All the players now very experienced. They've won trophies and everything, so I wouldn't expect them to be too many problems. I just want to avoid any of the big sides. You get to the quarterfinals, you can't avoid them forever. Again, you want the draw to be on your side as long as possible, and that's what aids it. Now, if I'm looking at a team that I'm thinking is going to be favourite for the competition, I'm going to go for Barcelona because I think they've got the best side. I would say Real Madrid, but without Ronaldo there, they haven't replaced Ronaldo. I'm not too sure. Ronaldo was peak Galactico. Now, Ronaldo was a player that can win games on his own. Juventus don't have the team that Real Madrid do. I don't think they pose as much of a threat. Juventus certainly going to be one of the favourites. I'd say there's about 8 sides though that I can say is going to be one of the favourites. It'd surprise me though if Juventus lifted the trophy. It'd surprise me if Atletico Madrid lifted the trophy. It'd surprise me if any of the English sides lifted the trophy, or PSG. Would it surprise me if Man City lifted the trophy? Yes, it would. If I'm being honest. Let me know what you think in the comments of that. But I feel like Man City, they need to learn the lessons. I won't get the answer to that until the Champions League group stage is done. Find out where we finish, see who we've got in the last 16 and get my answer as the season develops. Now, we only had one problem in the Champions League last season, and that was just losing our heads, not concentrating properly. One decision goes against us and our heads drop. Fabian Del said it well in the All or Nothing documentary. He said when things get going, things get tough, we don't do the basics, our heads drop, and we end up just, you know, nothing happens. You end up getting punished by quality sides. Liverpool, they ended up knocking us out because they're more than capable of scoring 3 or 4 times in very quick succession. So in Man City, you have to be focused for 180 minutes. Pep needs to work on getting the players focused for 180 minutes. What was most disappointing to me was we had that goal ruled out at the Etihad. This is where I want to see us improve this season in the Champions League. If we can improve on it, then we've got every chance of causing a problem, getting to a semi-final. You need a bit of luck. See if you can get to the final. See if what happens in a final. Anything can happen in a final. But what Liverpool did is when Man City had that goal disallowed, Leroy Sané, if you remember, and it should have been allowed, and it put us right back in the tie. Pep Guardiola lost his head. He ended up getting sent to the stands, swearing, getting angry, and all the players, I presume, at half-time have gone in feeling like that, and they looked deflated, they looked unmotivated, they looked like they didn't know what they were doing. Roma had the exact same situation at their ground in the second leg of the semi-final against Liverpool. They didn't let it faze them though. They carried on going. They thought if we can get one goal, we can get another, and they did. They ended up pushing Liverpool all the way, unlucky to go out. You know what I mean? And they could leave the competition with their heads held mightily high. They nearly did it. They did it against Barcelona. Never give up. They nearly did it. Man City have the motto, never to give up, always keep trying, work hard, all that stuff. They need to put that into practice if they can do that. Not let their heads drop, concentrate for 180 minutes. When they get put in a perilous situation, going gets tough, tough get going. Deal with it. See what can happen, cause problems, make them think, not us think, make them think. That's what they need to work on, psychological. I'll end this video on one note of what Pep Guardiola said in the All or Nothing. He said if there's one difference that separates Manchester City from the elite Barcelona and Real Madrid, it's all about in the heads. They go into the game thinking that they're champions, that they're animals. They know and they believe. You have to believe. The Manchester City believe we'll get our answer as we go through the competition, but we won 5 games out of 5. We went through, sailing through. We put out a weekend side to help with our Premier League campaign, but we went in full of confidence, but I felt we never believed. Saw it against Basel, saw it in that second leg. We lost that game. We should never have lost that second leg. They got booed off. Pep Guardiola said they were right to be booed off. You know, we can't afford to let things happen. Would Real Madrid, would Barcelona lose, even if they thrashed Basel 4-0 in their own ground? Would they go Basel to the Bernabeu and win? Would they let that happen? The answer is no, because they don't want it to happen. They want to win every single game. You want it to be relentless. Bayern Munich, when they won the Champions League, were relentless. You know what I mean? They never stopped going. They wanted to embarrass teams, and that's what separates. It really helps in confidence when you think, you know what, I've scored a third, I want to score 4, I want to score 5, I want to score 6, I want to humiliate them. AS Monaco did it when they had that very good side as well. Mendy, Bernardo Silva, etc., etc. They were so good, so aggressive. Mbappe, scared of no one. He was scared of nobody. He was just here to showcase what he could do, and that's what Manchester City need to do. Pep needs to get that into their heads. I'm not too sure that they've got it just yet. I feel like when we sign young players. I'd love to see a couple of players signed from top quality clubs, winners. They know they can lead players like Sergio Ramos, that can lead players like Gerard Piqué, like Lionel Messi, like Cristiano Ronaldo, and players that can make the difference, then players that are capable. Man City have got world-class players at their football club that can take charge. They've got players like Kevin De Bruyne, we've got players like David Silva. These are world-class players. We've got some World Cup winners in there too. We've got players like Mendy, etc, etc. There's quality in Manchester City's side that need to make it count. I don't think that we're going to be there. I do think that we'll be there or thereabouts. I'm looking for a semi-final this season. I don't think we're going to win the Champions League. Feel free to quote me if we do win the Champions League. I'll be gladly say that I'm wrong. I just don't think we've got enough about us just yet. But you never know. You do never know. I hope we can, because it'd be fantastic. It'd be fantastic to cover all of that stuff. But yeah, what Man City's chances on this? I don't think we're favourites. I think that's just English bookmakers doing that. We're not favourites for this competition. I'd look no further past Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich. They're tight there, but not all four of them normally don't get to the semi-final. There's normally a gap there, and once you get to the semi-final, anything can go. We pushed Real Madrid. We just didn't have enough shots under Pellegrini in 2016, but we still only lost narrowly, so they can take confidence from that, and hopefully we can make some progress. One thing I will add just before I end the video, Champions League's all about consistency. It is. You've got to compete year after year. We're a side that's been competing in the Champions League now since, I think, 2012, 11 or 12. We've been competing in the Champions League season after season. The only Premier League team that for that length of period of time now has been appearing regularly in the Champions League season after season. We need to make progress after progress and make sure we're always around the quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals, and winning it. Make sure you're always there. Everyone knows who you are and everyone fears you and no one wants to play you. But most of all, you want to set it psychological. Only way to do that is go and win every single game in the group stage and say, you know what, we mean business. Go and lead in the Premier League. We had that last season. Teams feared us because we're just doing so well in the Premier League, and teams that have showed us respect. Worst case scenario draw was facing Liverpool. They've beaten us already. The only side at the time to have beaten us. They had confidence. They knew we weren't to be feared. They showed no fear. They tried to intimidate us with the bus thing. That's what that was all about. Don't agree with it, but that's what it was all about. It was trying to intimidate and say, you know what, you're not having it your way. We're having it our way. It worked. I'd love to see Manchester City show what they can do though on the pitch. And that's what we want to see. So we'll wait and see. There we go, it's been the video. Sorry it's been a bit of a waffle on, but I thought it gives a nice summary to have a look at the Champions League, something to look forward to. It's the international break, we've got nothing to talk about really. So I thought we'd have a nice discussion about the Champions League. Like I said, let me know what you think in the comments below. Social media links there in the description below too if you want to go and check them out. On my Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me on there if you wish. You can also go and check out my email, go and hit me with any business enquiries or any sponsorships if you wish. And you also leave the links to my second channel and my brother's partner channel, which is JSGC Gaming and Mixed respectively. You can go check them out, like and subscribe. I'll leave links to them at the end of the video. You want to go and check them out, check out my other videos. I'll see you all again tomorrow for another Manchester City and football video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you then. Peace. Ciao for now.